Do you have an ex who's destroying your relationship with your kids? Do you have an ex who's bad-mouthing you to your kids, pouring poison into their ears, who's done everything in their power to undermine your relationship with your kids? You want to know what makes it even worse, and do you want to know what you can do about it? What makes it even worse is that it's not just that they're destroying your relationship with your kids. Worse, they're destroying your kids' relationship with you. So it's not just that you have a right to your kids. Every kid has a right to their parents, right? Assuming their parents aren't, abusers or whatever, they have every right to have a relationship with you. So it's not just that you're being hurt. Your kids are being hurt by not getting to be with you. And if you have a parent, the other parent pouring poison into your children's ears, you effectively have a few choices. If they're bad-mouthing you, tearing you down to your children when they're on their time, you can do the same thing back. But I don't recommend it. In fact, I'm highly, highly against it. Why? Because you're just creating more pain for your own children. It hurts them to hear bad about someone they love so much, their other parent, just like it hurts them to hear bad about you. So you do have the option of tearing down the other parent to your kids, but I am absolutely opposed to that, except in the rarest of cases. So another option is you can do nothing. This is what I did in my life when it was happening to me and happening to my kids. Is I was told by therapists back then, never do anything to disparage the other parent. And so I didn't. But that only works if both parents are doing that. Because if the other parent is disparaging you, it will severely harm your relationship with your kids for a very long time. And it did in my case, and it's taken literally decades to repair that, now into their 20s and 30s. But there's another option, and that is you have every right to stand up for yourself, to provide a counter message to that about yourself, to defend yourself to your kids, and you should do that. I recommend that. Why? Because if your kids aren't getting a counter message, they will in all likelihood believe the message they are getting, because the message they're getting from the other parent you are normalizing by not offering a counter message. Every right to defend yourself. I don't recommend tearing down the other parent, but please hear me when I tell you I understand the hell you're going through. I've been there. I've held a lot of hands of a lot of people in counseling, walking them through that very hard situation. I'm sorry you're going through it.
Have you ever been in a relationship, maybe a love relationship or a friendship or parent to child or boss to subordinate, where you've been telling someone something and telling them, and they don't fucking listen, but then somewhere down the line they hear it from somebody else, and all of a sudden it's like their eyes are open and it's the gospel and now they fucking do it, and you're like, what the fuck? I've been telling you this for a long time. Ever had that happen? It reminds me of when I was interviewing for an NCAA strength coach position, and I was to be the coach for all the teams. But the football coach specifically said, we have one special job for the strength coach at our school, and that is you're the get-back guy on game day. The get-back guy is the coach that walks up and down the sideline telling the team to stay off the field, because it's easy to sort of creep onto the field to see the action, but that's a penalty, and it costs the team yardage. So they assigned one of the coaches to be the get-back guy. And I flat out said to the head coach, I won't do it. He's like, what are you talking about? Our strength coach always does that. I said, I won't do it. And he said, why? I said, because it dilutes my voice. The more they hear me yelling, get back, get back, get back, it dilutes the strength of my voice when we're in the weight room. And that's when they most need to be listening. That's when I need their full attention. And I'm not going to do anything that's going to dilute that voice. I'm a team player. I'm happy to do anything for this team, but I won't dilute the power of my voice when it's most important, and that's in the weight room. And so my question simply, and by the way, I did get the job. And no, I didn't have to be the get back guy. And so that raised the question to you. How are you diluting your voice in your relationships? And is it possible all the shit you're saying, all the potential nagging, all the bullshit, all the harping is going in one ear and out the other? Have a
quick dating tip for determining whether or not this person you're starting a relationship is going to be a massive energy suck on you in the upcoming months and years. Simply watch what they do with compliments, and not necessarily in the moment. The normal response to a compliment is, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. But if they take that story either in the moment or after the fact and they expand it, you've got problems. This is the person who says, yeah, I'm great, I'm wonderful. Or maybe they don't even say that in the moment, but after the fact, it's like they see themselves as better than everyone else. They see themselves as greater. I love myself. People who go around saying, I love myself, they're selling. And they're not buying. They're trying to convince themselves. Anybody who's expanding a compliment is trying to convince themselves, because that inner voice that they received growing up that never got compliments or was constantly put down or was constantly criticized, they're trying to counteract that voice by shouting to the heavens as loudly as they can. They they are trying to convince themselves that they have worth. And so they expand it to I'm better than everyone else, which means they're going to have to forever keep you in that relationship. So they're effectively going to do the same thing to you that was done to them. They're going to need to keep you down. They need you to be less than themselves in order for them to feel big. It's the classic big man syndrome that, as guys we knew about. It's a small man who has to put down other people in order to make himself feel big. That's what we're talking about here. This person who expands something big to cover up a goo and muck inside that believes I suck. And it's not just men. There are plenty of women going around saying, oh, I love myself. I'm great. I'm wonderful. They're hiding the real truth way down deep inside that they can't bear to look at. But on the flip side, it's just as bad. This is the person who shies away from compliments, who basically takes that story and says, I suck. I don't trust you. They don't trust anyone who compliments them, because that message coming out of your mouth is the precise counter message to everything they've been told their entire life, and that is that I suck. And while it may feel good, they generally, actually, it doesn't even feel good. They distrust you. They think you're trying to manipulate them, use them, get them something from them. So this person is actually trying to convince you, believe it or not. This is the person who believes they suck so bad that they will go out of their way. They will do every last thing possible to make you like them. They will sell the fucking farm. They will give away everything, their sexuality, their money, anything, because they are terrified of one thing: you walking away. You walking away confirms all of the messages that they received growing up. They suck, they're no good. Again, this person wasn't complimented, they were likely put down, likely criticized. They need you to stay. They're trying to convince you of their maybe momentary worth, or at least convince you to stay because they need it. And this is the person who forever feels trapped in relationships because they can't bear the thought of leaving, because that's a counter message. If they're alone, see, I don't matter. So watch how they take care of compliments. So who are you in a relationship with, or is it possible you're one of those people? Have a kick-ass.
Man, how come a narcissist can rebound so fucking quickly? I just got out of a relationship with one, and I'm fucking losing my mind, and I'm grieving and all this shit, and my narcissist ex has already moved on to the next fucking relationship. I don't get it. I need to understand. And I'm like, they didn't fucking rebound. And they look at me and say, what? The fuck you talking about? I say rebound implies something is down and then comes back up. If a stock rebounds, that stock tanked and then it's come back up. When something rebounds, it assumes that it's been down. And the difference between you and your narcissist is that you're down. You're grieving, you're feeling the pain of it. And a narcissist, by definition, because they have so much fucking pain in their lives, they can't allow themselves to go down. They can't allow themselves to be laid low by life. And so they keep just jumping into the next one. Why? Because they need to siphon attention. They need to siphon positive energy from someone else. Which is why I don't really call narcissist. That's a clinical fucking psychological term. Leave psychology to the psychologists. I just call them extreme takers. Extreme takers. And extreme takers tend to usually find extreme givers. It's a perfect setup. Match made in hell. And so they move on to the next person who's willing to, because they have their own pain. The extreme giver has their own pain, so much from childhood, that they'll just give. Please just love me a little bit. And the narcissist says, just give. Because I've got so much fucking pain. I need something to numb the pain. So they jump. They can't ever bear to go down. Too scary. And if you're in a relationship with somebody like that, fuck. Do yourself a favor and get the fuck out. If you're in a relationship with somebody like that, it's just gonna be hell. They're gonna use you up, burn you out, and move on. Because you haven't healed your shit. I'm not blaming the victim. I'm just saying it's two people who have so much fucking pain from their past they can't bear to touch. So you being laid low, you grieving over the loss of that person is the best fucking thing that can happen to you, as long as you stay in it and allow the pain and the fears and the bullshit beliefs you were taught about yourself from way fucking back there to come out of you and finally heal from this shit. Yes, it takes longer. Yes, it's infinitely harder than what you see them doing. You think they've moved on with their life. They haven't moved on with their life. They've never engaged their life. They're just bouncy, like Tigger. Bouncy. On to the next thing. Never fully engaged with life, just taking. And deep down inside of them is misery. But you're having the wisdom to deal with yours and to get it out so that you can finally move on to a healthy, happy, fulfilling life and relationships. Today's the day. Have a kick-ass day.